Took over Digger Lakes in 2010 and opened in 2011. The fishery then was a 650 metre, very run-down match fishery. It had a series of floods come into it. It was very overgrown, and it had been ottered to the point that I think we took out, if I remember rightly, 30 pike, 2 tench and a bream. It used to be a very, very busy match fishery. When we opened in 2011, we stocked 250 fish into what is now beside us, Snails Lake, and these have grown on over the last few years to the fishery we have now. An average week at the fishery, daily checks. Probably the most important thing is checking the otter fence. We've got 2,200 metres of otter fence now around the 2 lakes we have. This is probably one of the most vital jobs. We're in an area with a big river nearby, so we've got a lot of otters going up and down, so it's vital that we don't get an otter into the fishery, because if we do, then that will be the end of our fish. I also have to, one of the low points is pick up litter. It's one of my pet hates, as I'm sure it is a lot of people, that anglers by nature do leave rubbish. Very much a minority, but they still, do leave rubbish, which I hate picking up, but it has to be done. Other low points, I suppose, on fishery management is now and again the fish do die. When you've got livestock, you've got dead stock, and we do occasionally get the odd fish that dies. So, yeah, clearing those up is not much fun. On the plus side, I get to do a lot of fishery management. So I get to manipulate the stock, make sure the stock's in good condition, restocking every year, clearing out snags, which I love doing, controlling the weed, developing the swims. Over the years we've shut down more swims than we've opened up, simply to give anglers more room. So it just gives people a bit of elbow room and you're not shoulder to shoulder. On the more major seasonal jobs, we do bigger tree removal where we have to lower the lake. I try to keep the fishery running with no snags. I like overhanging bushes, but what I don't want is big underwater snags where the fish can get tethered or where they sit for days and days on end. It doesn't create a good fishery, and also it's not good for the fish. So that would be one of the big seasonal jobs. The other job we do on a yearly basis in the winter is we lower the level on both lakes and we do a roach removal. We've got a fairly healthy population of small roach in here, so once a year let the water level down, we get a team in from Sparsholt College, net the lake, remove all the silverfish, and also any of the smaller carp that aren't really doing anything or aren't growing, we take them out. So we're decreasing the stock levels pretty much all the time to get them to where I want them. For the highs for the fishery, there isn't really one I can pinpoint. There's a number of things that I get an awful lot of pleasure out of, and I know that the lads that help me, I have a team of 4 bailiffs, and I know they appreciate it as well, is seeing the fishery grow. Since we took it on in 2011, it's come on leaps and bounds. The sort of the bank side now is so mature. We've planted trees. We were lucky we took on a fishery that was half developed, so yeah, just seeing the fishery develop. The next one is obviously seeing the fish. The fish on their own have grown so well in here, and there's some right characters now. They've picked up names along the way, which has given them a bit of character. But also the high, I suppose, as well, is seeing people catch fish. A fishery manager always wants to see people catching fish. I can't guarantee that, but I'll do as much as I can to help people to catch fish. And when you see someone catching a personal best or a particularly good-looking fish, size may not be important. Yeah, it's a great feeling, and often I've shared some good moments with anglers who've caught their personal bests here, but I've also done very well and had a multiple catch. So yeah, that would be one of my definite highs. The future for Digger Lakes. We dug through one of the islands this year, so that was quite a major job. That took over a week. Really just to keep the fishery going the way it's going, keep the fish healthy, maybe get rid of the odd swim here and there to give people more room, and probably take out a few more fish, because I don't want it to be too easy. I don't want people, snails especially, because we've got snails and Percy's pool, so snails especially, I don't ever want it to be a place where people are expected to come and catch. I want people to have to work for their fishing. And on Percy's, we've got the stock down to about 250 now. I'll probably take out another 30 or 40 fish out of there. and really the future is, just keeping the fishery in really good condition, and just make sure people are enjoying themselves. I suppose the biggest developments in fishery management, really I suppose the manipulation of stock, the sort of people now manipulating brood stock using different, just different strains, rather than just a carp is a carp is a carp. It's now, you can fish in a lake now. We've got Leany crosses in here, we've got Harrow fish in here, we've got Sutton fish in here, and we've got sort of Dinkerspules, which are sort of the Mark Simmons strain. So really, a lot of the farms now, like VS Fisheries, have really concentrated on developing their strains. So that they've got not only the fast growth, but also really good looking fish, and from such a wide such a wide gene pool now. So we're always creating great new strains. So I suppose that's one big development. The other one, I suppose, is social media. For me as a fishery manager, Facebook is by far the biggest advertiser for my fishery. It gives people up-to-date reports of what's going on the fishery. It just shows what's going on all the time. People can show what they've caught, show what bait they've caught, and it enables me to update it every day and let people see what's going on in the fishery, so people can plan their fishing trips. We've got a Twitter feed as well, which is good because you can keep people who aren't on Facebook, keep them updated on there, and they're linked in. So that's really good. So social media really is just a massive selling point for the fishery. We've also, I suppose, the development of our booking system now. We used to sell tickets at the garage up the road. We've now got a web-only booking system where you can go on, you set yourself up an account, you book your ticket, you pay for your ticket, and that's it. You're guaranteed a swim. On snails there's 17 swims, we only ever book out 12, so it means that there's always room for someone to move, because before, on a bank holiday weekend, people come down, the fishery would be rammed, people go away unhappy because they couldn't move around the lake, whereas now it's a maximum of 12 anglers on Snails Lake with 17 swims, and the same on Percy's. We've done the same on there. So the development in that point, I suppose, modern technology, being able to use a phone, turn up at the gate, see that there's room, or look on the line beforehand, see that there's space, book online either on your PC from home or on your phone in the car park. So a major, really major development that is for us. I suppose one of the funniest fish farming tales that I've ever had, when we used to stock a huge amount of carp, we used to produce somewhere in the region of 1 million carp a year. And when you're talking fish that big, they'd only weigh sort of 16 to 20 grams. And I turned up a fishery one day, and all the local club were there, and they were so pleased to see their new stock of small mirrors and commons. And I had a guy working with me at the time, and we'd had a long drive. It was a long way up country. I think it was up near Hull, and of course we're in Devon, so it'd been a long day. We'd done 2 or 3 other drops, and we were dropping off 10,000 3 to 4 inch carp to this guy. And we put the first bucketful in the swim, and they took some photos, and he said, right, I want a bucketful in every swim, because we've got a match in 3 days, and I know what these carp are like. They'll stay in that one swim. So we've managed to spread these 10,000 carp out all the way around the fishery, because this guy didn't want them all in one swim. As much as I tried to convince him that they would spread out, he was convinced that if that swim had all the fish put in, that would be where they would win the match from. Yet these poor little things were only this big, they could hardly get a maggot in their mouth. So yeah, pretty funny tale for me. Preference on teabag. I'm a PG Tips man myself. Generally drink tea in the morning with the dog, who's fast asleep over there, and usually about half a packet of Rich Tea biscuits. Thanks, Lewis. It's a bit of a curveball.